Back now with Diane Gottsman to talk about a very important topic, more so than ever in our workplace and social life, texting do's and don'ts, texting etiquette. And we were just talking, you said texting isn't that new now, but in terms of infrastructure and how it plays into our work life and personal life, the do's and don'ts are kind of new.
That's right. So we've been texting forever, except the rules change because we keep using it in different ways.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about this, because the way I use text is like, hey, what's up, girl? You want to go grab
more casual.
You want to grab some lunch?
Yeah.
I'm out at 12:30. You know? Or, you know,
and then you put a cute little happy face or something, and you know,
3 exclamation points.
Yeah. So okay, first and foremost, texting is efficient. It's a great way to communicate.
Really is
so it's not a don't, because we all probably couldn't live without it.
Right.
I couldn't. But it's the way that we communicate.
Okay.
So I'm going to communicate with you, my girlfriend, or you, my guy friend, different than I'm going to communicate with my client or my boss.
Sure.
Do we communicate via text with our client or our boss?
If they want to. So I am not going to initiate the text. You know, as the executive, you're not going to initiate the text to your client. You're going to say, you know, how do you prefer that I communicate with you? And if they text you first, because they have your phone number, then you can text them back. Of course you text them back. You follow their lead, but just don't assume. And if you do text, make sure at the end you put your name. You know, because we get these numbers and we don't know who they are.
Has that happened to you before?
Absolutely,
and then you feel horrible.
You got to kind of backtrack.
Who is this?
You have to say who is it, and then you don't say who is it, and then you know that's a whole other set of circumstances.
I've done that sometimes. Just I think I know who this is. Let me be vague enough that hopefully I can get a clue in the next minute. You don't want to have any of that going. And you know what you don't want to do? You just leave your client off or you send him or her off. You know, you met for lunch and you know they're on their way back. Or you have a friend that you just said bye to, and then you think of something. You don't want to text them when they're driving, because you don't want to set up that temptation that, you know, when I know we are not supposed to text and drive, but when you hear that ding, it's human nature to want to do this. Such a good point. So try to do that as little as possible.
You know, we don't know who is driving and who is not, obviously. But if I know you just got in your car, I'm not going to send you a text right now.
I like the next one because I am not very timely with my text responses, because sometimes my phone is buried, quite frankly, at the bottom of my purse or on the other side of the house. And my girlfriends will sometimes text me and I don't text them immediately. What do you have to say about that?
That's okay, because you have a life. And certainly in business, you can't text right away. If I'm in front of one client, I can't be texting my other client. But even at home with our friends, you know, I think a polite texter doesn't say, you know, and I admit I do this too. If I don't get a text back in a timely manner, hello, where are you? Hello.
Because sometimes you do get one back in 15 seconds and you love that. But someone can be driving, you don't ever know.
No, that's absolutely. What if you, I'm sorry, Dave.
Well, we were going to talk as we go too. Sometimes the text isn't the response. Sometimes it is a phone call. What are some of those times when it is good to use the phone?
Well, you are not going to break up with a boyfriend or a girlfriend over a text.
That's
we
horrible.
know that, okay? But it happens. So I just have to say it again. You are not going to, definitely not, okay, let me tell you one that you are going to do. This is a do that we didn't talk about. Text your kids when you want to know where they are. Now, not when they're driving, and kids need to know not to answer or not to text. I'm not saying that. But, you know, my teen will text me back faster than he will call me back. He does not call.
It's a great tool in that
if I want him right away, bang, you know, I text him. So anyway, what you don't do, I just had to get that in because that's so important.
It is.
What you use a telephone call for is when you want to say, I'm sorry. You are not going to apologize over a text. If you want to cheer somebody up, you can send a little quick text saying thinking about you, but if they're in, you know, if they're in the hospital, make a call.
In this day and age of texting, the call is the next step up. It really means a lot more.
It does.
When you do get an apology or do check on someone, it's an extra step saying you care.
It's that extra effort. You are not going to call, you're not going to text your boss and say, I'm running late on a deadline. You're going to call your boss and say, this took a little more time than I thought.
Maybe explain why.
Yes, yes.
Sometimes I feel, though, I'm a caller because I feel like I can talk a lot quicker than I can text.
Well, sometimes you get it out.
So, but sometimes I feel like I'm imposing on someone's privacy, you know, because they can answer my text whenever they want, but when I'm calling, they got to talk to me now.
That's why we like text, because we can decide when we want to talk. But they can also look at the number and say, well, I have time to talk or not.
They can screen me. What happens if, so back to the client, and we got to wrap up, but back to that client or executive, you know, relationship there. What if we don't want to give our cell phone number to somebody? Because a lot of times, give me your cell phone number so I can text.
Yeah. Well, you can't really say no, but you can say, it's best to reach me through the office, or here's my office number.
Yeah, okay,
I'm always there.
Learning the rules as we go.
Diane Gottsman with Protocol School of Texas. It's great to see you.
Nice seeing you.
As always. We'll be right back.